Saturday morning edition of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I'm your host, Noah Love, and tonight we will be talking about the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight is set, and we will know on Sunday evening or night who's going to the Final Four. But this Sweet 16, absolute cinema. Let's just get straight into it. Let's start with the best game of the whole Sweet 16. I'm going back to Thursday here. Arkansas and Texas Tech. Texas Tech overcomes a 16-point deficit with 9 minutes left to play in this ball game to win it in overtime and go to the Elite Eight. Texas Tech have been under the radar, I felt like, all year. We really felt like they could get to this point, and they're now one game away from the Final Four. And this is as Texas Tech of a win as it gets. Look, Texas Tech was rattled. Let's just say it. They were rattled early on in this ball game. They were. Arkansas had it rolling. They were playing great defensively. Johnell Davis was absolutely incredible. He had 30 points on the night, but he was really good in the first half. I thought Carter Knox gave us some great minutes. I just thought defensively, Texas Tech could not make a three. They were rattled in this basketball game. Look, Texas Tech over 10 at 12 points. He kept them in it. But I think the key and the reason why Texas Tech won this game was in the second half. Federico came into this basketball game and he made an impact. He was grabbing every rebound. He was giving them second chance opportunities. He was a presence on defense. I thought he really helped change the momentum. But even then, it's a 13-point game, 4 minutes left to go. And then you had the sequence where Christian Anderson hits the three. Then they get the drive at the 8-point game. They get a stop, get another drive. All of a sudden, it's a 6-point game. And then there you go. And I thought the three by Carter Knox in the corner to make it 72-66 will be the dagger. Nah, apparently not. Now, before we get to the Cal situation, Elijah Hawkins played probably the worst game of the season, and they still were able to win. JT Toppin was great in this game with 20, obviously. Christian Anderson, big time reason they won the game. Darion Williams, you're going to look at his numbers and be like, ugh, like what? But he did struggle for a good portion in this game. But when they needed him to go down, when they needed him to get a bucket, he did. Now, let's go to sort of the end of the game here. Where, look, okay, it's about, I believe, 30-ish seconds. Obviously, this was a stop. They foul Adu. Here's where people say after the Adu missed free throw, they should have fouled. First of all, if Adu makes even a front end of a 1-and-1, if he makes and if he makes that and but even if he misses a second, we're probably not talking about Texas Tech in the Elite Eight right now. So that's one. Two, are you really going to foul with 30-some seconds and send them to the line for two? And then they could get, fouling. People think fouling up three means automatic win. That's not necessarily what happens there. Say you get the foul. You get the foul. Best case scenario, misses one or two, go down, make two, and then they miss a three, grab rebound, ball game. When they got to stop, They just couldn't get the rebound. That was the thing. They missed the first attempt, and then obviously Williams hit the big time three there. Look, found down three. Cal's gonna get flamed for that. I don't think it was bad. Obviously, the shot they got at the end of OT, or not the end of OT. I'm talking about the end of the say half. It's not great. Then we go to overtime. Then let's go to the final portion. Cal always lets that go. A lot of people say, well, you got to switch up the strategy. Da, 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 da. Look, if you call a timeout, gives you time it gives the other team time to set their defense and not scrambling. And instead of Cal having, okay, do we want this? Do we want are you doing this? Da da da. Let's drop a play. You need to be here. It's like, okay, I trust my point guard to let it go. Now, Wagner, I don't really know what he was doing. Would I have called a timeout to set up a play? That would have been me, probably, yes. But I don't have a problem with what Cal did. I don't. And sometimes it works out like that. Look, coaches have different philosophies. And that's how he plays it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Texas Tech, Arkansas, let's get here. Arkansas was the better team for 30 minutes. The next 15 minutes, Texas Tech was better. And that is why Texas Tech won the game. They were more active. They were more alive. They made big time three balls. They did when they could have quit. They didn't quit. They stayed the course. They stayed with it. And that is why Texas Tech is advancing to take on Florida. I told you, no surprise here. The game went, the Florida beat Maryland. Look, the Kevin Willard stuff, there are conflicting reports. I don't know about that, but I want to get to Florida real quick because the game went exactly how I thought it would. I said, Maryland, if you listen closely to the last pod, I said, Maryland will probably keep it close. But I just think, look, outside of the five, they didn't have enough depth. And I think Florida will wear them down. And that's what happened. Florida wore them down. It wasn't an outrageously great performance by any one guy on Florida. It wasn't. Like, if you're going to look at the stat line, okay, Clayton had 13. That's okay. Richard had 15. Martin had 14. Chinulu had 10. It was Hall had 13. Aberdeen had 12. It was just they were sharing the basketball, and it was a very balanced performance. Look, Derek Queen had a great game. He had 27, but again, just they did not have enough depth to beat Florida. If you're Maryland, look, great season. Nothing to hang your head about in this game. You played well. It was close. But again, just not having the depth, it wore them down in the basketball game. It did. And that's kind of why I said, look, Florida and Texas Tech is going to be a fantastic basketball game today. Fantastic basketball game. But the depth Florida has they can play 8 guys and they all can contribute big time minutes and get some big time buckets. This is Todd Golden against Cass. I don't want to pronounce his name wrong. It's Texas Tech coach. It is, I think it would the winner. It would be first time Final Four for either one, so that'll be fun. I think the key in that game is going to be obviously your guards. Texas Tech, if your guards play like they did against Florida, against Arkansas, the way they played against Arkansas against Florida, they gonna lose. Elijah Hawkins can't play that bad again. I don't think he will. The key, obviously, I think it's going to be about the bigs. For Texas Tech, JT Toppin Williams. For Florida, Condon, uh, Hall, Chinaloo, who's going to get on the glass. That's going to be a big. That's going to be a big. That's going to be a big key into deciding the winner. Now, let's just go over something quickly. The East Regional Final is set today, Duke and Bama. Let's go over Alabama first. Alabama hits 25 threes, and they run BYU out the gym. They scored 51 points in the first half, 62 points in the second half. Look, Bama, if they I don't think they're gonna shoot like this against Duke. I really don't. But if they hit 18 threes against Duke, they're gonna have a good chance to beat Duke. I mean, Mark Sears was unconscious in this game. Best Mark Sears performance, 34, obviously. 11-18, he had 10 threes. That was remarkable. Aiden Holloway at 23 points coming off the bench. He was huge. Look, they can beat Duke, I believe, because of the way they push the pace. They have the bigs. I think Grant Nelson's going to have to be key in this game. His ability to stretch the floor. Marie versus Malawach is going to be a big time key in this game. Now, who will they put on Cooper Flag? Because the starting lineup they had out there, I believe Diabate should play at least 30 minutes in this game. Because to me, he has a little bit of the size and he has the strength to try to keep Flag out the lane. That's just my personal opinion. Phylon's not going to guard him. I guess you could put Nelson on him. Try that, but I don't know if that'll work. Nelson is agile. He does have the size. But I don't know. We'll see. We will see where that goes. Because Bama, look, in terms of BYU, great season. Look, Bama got hot. Look, BYU started they were going under screens. Sears got hot, and they got in trouble. They started blitzing ball screens, and Bama was boom, 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 boom. Oh, open three, knockdown. Boom, 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 boom. Open three, knockdown. So that's really what it was. Once they got hot, BYU couldn't stop it. So Bama advances. Obviously, they're taking on Duke. Let's get here. Duke beats Arizona in a whale of a game. This game changed. I know Arizona tried to come back, but this game really changed at the end of the half. When Duke got that 6-point lead and then they continued it to get up to double figures, it wasn't over, but it was going to be tough for Arizona to climb out of that hole. Look, Caleb Love was sensational. He had 35 points. Sensational. Cooper Flag, 30 points. He was everywhere. He had 3 blocks. He was assisting, rebounding, getting in the lane. It was an incredible performance. Con Knipple at 20. Look, Zion James, he had 16. He played well. I thought. Look, Proctor didn't even have his great game. He only had 7 compared to the way he shot in the first 2 matchups. Or not in the first 2 matchups, or in the first 2 games of the tournament. It's just like, wow. Duke, it's going to be, because Bama's not going to stop Duke. That's going to be an up and down game. Bama's not going to stop Duke. If Bama wants to beat Duke, it's going to be about timely stops, and obviously offensively they cannot get shut down, move the ball around. Because Alabama, they're going to score the basketball. They're going to be able to score against Duke. And Duke's a really good defensive team. And that's not even a knock against Duke. Obviously, like I just said, really good defensive team. Alabama scores against everyone. So that's going to happen. It's going to be about Can you secure the boards? Can you keep Cooper Flag out the lane? And can you make Duke take just tough shots? If you're Duke, go over on every single ball screen with marks. Go over on every ball screen. Jon Scheyer, do not blitz because that's 5-on-4. That's going to be in trouble. They just find the open man. You just cannot let them get hot. I think because they're going to hit some tough threes. But I think overall, you can't let them gash you like they did against BYU. Here's what I'll say for Duke. If you go 2 for 2, you win the game. 3 for 3, it's going to be tough to beat Alabama. 2 for 2, you're going to win. 3 for 3, it's going to be tough. So, yeah, Duke and Bama is going to be a fantastic game. Florida, Texas Tech is going to be fantastic. All right, let's get to the games tonight. Let's get to the one that just ended. Houston knocks off Purdue 62-60. I thought Purdue was gritty in this game. Look, they came out, they punched Houston early. Fletcher Loyer really kept them in it early. He had 12 points early in this ball game, and then he only had 4 points the rest of the way. But Purdue, they just kept fighting no matter what happened. They kept punching. I thought their defense was terrific. Now on the glass, 16 offensive rebound for you. Houston gets rebounds. Like that's what they just get boards. Or they get a finger on it or something. Like they're going to grab rebounds. That's what Houston does. I thought Milos Uzan was the best player on the floor tonight for Houston. But in terms of Braden Smith, I know he only has 7 points. But against Houston, the key thing is look, you want to take care of the ball. The biggest thing in basketball is the basketball. I know that sounds a little bit corny, but it's the truth. Taking care of the basketball is huge. Braden Smith, in terms of turnovers, he only had 3, but he had 15 assists. That was huge. The last play, Purdue usually they always switch on with the inbounder to where the inbounder's wide open. So it was executed perfectly. Pass and he gets in Uzan, and then he just puts it in. Tough one for Purdue. It's a tough loss for Purdue because you felt like you were right there. When they got down 10, I thought, okay, they fought, but they're low-key kind of done. But to their credit, they came back. I think Colvin hit a 3. Obviously, Heidi hit 2 threes. He had one from dang near the logo, and obviously the one in the corner. But I just thought Purdue's fight, the resolve in this basketball game, it just was really impressive. Houston, gritty game. Obviously, look, Cryer couldn't hit anything tonight. Kind of what it was. This wasn't one of Houston's best performances, but again, in the tournament, finding ways to win, they win. Houston wins gritty games like this. They just find a way to do it. So they'll be advancing to the Elite Eight to take on the Tennessee Volunteers, who beat Kentucky 78-65. And this game on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock is going to be a war. Look, Tennessee punched Kentucky early, and Kentucky didn't have an answer. They jumped on them early. I think the lead was like 17 and 4. It was something like that. I think their largest lead was like 20 something in this game, about 20 points. Thought they were good on offense. I thought Tennessee was patient, got to what they wanted. Zakai Ziegler had a good game, 18 and 10. had only 2 turnovers. Gonna have to do that against Houston. But I thought, look, Jordan Gainey off the bench. He's another guy goes off to dribble 16 points. Chaz Lanier, you want him. He was only 1 for 6 for 3. He's going to be the key. I think if he knocks down about 4 or 5 threes in the game, I think Tennessee's going to have a good chance. If you like defense, you're going to like this game between Tennessee and Houston on Sunday. I obviously think the bigs are going to be key because these are two of the better offensive rebounding teams, if not the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. Tennessee got 14 tonight. Look, Roberts and Francis versus Alpara and Milicic. That front court matchup is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Look, if Tennessee wants to win this basketball game, you're going to have to keep Houston off the glass. Can't get those second chances. You're going to have to be patient against Houston because nothing's really going to be there. And you're just going to have to weather the storm, really, from Houston. If you're Houston, it's the posting keys really the same. Keep them off the glass. Keep them off the offensive glass. Be patient because the first, second read usually is not going to be there. When you get open shots, you got to take them, knock them down. If you can get on the offensive glass, get there, get second chance opportunities. It's going to be about a game of not only physical toughness, but mental toughness. And the mentally tougher team will win this basketball game. That's just what's going to come down to. All right, let's get to our last 2 games of the night. These 2 teams will be playing on Sunday. Michigan State and Auburn. Let's get to Michigan State first. Michigan State beats Ole Miss in a grinder of a game, 73-70. This was a rock fight. Ole Miss brought it. They brought it to Michigan State. I think that Sean Padula was great in the game, had 24. Punched them in the mouth early, but Michigan State, man, to end the half, really great response to cut it to 2. It's just Michigan State was not phased. This is a classic Izzo team. Mentally tough, not the best maybe in terms of talent, but they play together. Physically tough, mentally tough, and that's how they win games. Look, if Izzo can get this team to the Final Four, it's one of his best coaching jobs, I think, because even in 2019, when they beat Zion and RJ Barrett, they didn't have anybody like Cassius Winston on that team, on this team. If they can somehow, now Auburn's going to be tough to beat. I'm just saying that now. But Izzo, this is one of his best coaching jobs, I think. I mean, they don't even have anybody that's as good as a Tyson Walker, I think. Maybe Jace Richardson, but he's a little inconsistent. But I'm getting a little bit off topic here. Look, the boards, Michigan State did not do a good job on the glass. Obviously, offensive rebounds was huge for Ole Miss. I think the one thing that Michigan State's been all year is a second half team, but you're gonna have to get off to a good start against Auburn. The way Michigan State just defends, they defend, and they rebound. They want to get out on the break. Those are big things that Michigan State does well, and they did it tonight against Ole Miss. And Ole Miss, man, they gave them all they could handle. It was a rock fight. I thought, obviously, Jace Richardson, he was efficient, takes pride in his defense, and his shot got going, but they're going to need him. Doc Cohen Carr, look, he had that big dunk where it's just like, oh my goodness. Doc Cohen Carr was good on defense. He had 15 tonight. Obviously, you're going to have to get better play from Fears. I thought Holloman is decent tonight. Akins was good. For Ole Miss, great season. You battled here. You could have won the game. It's just Michigan State, man. They dug deep. This was a hard nosed, old, not necessarily old school, but it was just a rock fight. And Michigan State has proven that they can win those, they can win the grindy games, they can win the up tempo games, they can blow you out the water, they can win those close games where they don't play well. Incredible for Izzo. And last year, Izzo said, look, I'm going to make another run in this tournament or die trying. I think that was the quote, but he said he was going to make another run in this tournament. He's making a run, and can he make a run to San Antonio? We'll see. But something's got to give because it will be the first Final Four appearance for one of these schools is 2019 as Auburn beats Michigan 78-65. Look, Auburn's first half was atrocious. Let's just keep it real. It was atrocious. They were turning the ball over. Defensively, I guess they were okay, but offensively, turning the ball over, not getting good looks at all. It was bad. Michigan was up 7, or 7 or 8. No, they were up 9. It was 48-39. And Tahad Pettiford hit a switch. And they ended up, and Janai Broome was great, but they were getting stops. Obviously, Denver Jones helped them out. Broome helped them out. But Tahad Pettiford is the reason they go on a run. He was on a heater, and they win this game. Look, in terms of efficiency-wise, it wasn't great. It was great. They dominated the glass. Look, offensive rebounds, I will talk about it, leading to second chance points that hurt. If you're winning, that's a big reason you win. If you lose, it's a big reason they hurt you. That hurts you. 19 offensive rebounds in the game. Auburn, look. The second half was vintage Auburn, I felt like, from what we saw December, January. Great defense, controlling the game. Guards really getting it going from 3. Now, Miles Kelly, 191 for 7, not great. Against Michigan State, he's going to be an X factor because, he can get as hot as anybody. Obviously, Chad Baker-Mazara is going to be a big time. Obviously, Broome, it will be interesting to see how Michigan State handles the bigs. That'll be an interesting point because Broome's just so good. Will they trap him? Will they play him 1v1? I don't know. But look, Pearl, Izzo, and look, coaching advantage, I give to Izzo here. Pearl's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. I like Pearl. But in terms of who I trust more in terms of coaching, Izzo. Now, Auburn has the better team. But, in these one-game scenarios, Izzo, look, Izzo is one of the best. So, look, we'll see. Are your Elite 8 matchups? Today, the first game is Texas Tech, Florida in the West Regional Final. Then in the East Regional Final is Alabama and Duke. And then obviously tomorrow it'll be Tennessee and Houston, Michigan State and Auburn. The regional final I'm most excited for is the Alabama and Duke one. That's going to be an electric crowd in Newark, and it's going to be such a great game. The big boys are going at it. I think of 8 of the top 9 in KenPom are still alive here. We can have 4 ones in the tournament. I think one of these 2s are going to get them. But, hey, man, this is going to be a fantastic Elite 8 weekend. And next time I talk to you guys, I may do a reaction video on Saturday and then one on Sunday. We'll see. Or I may just put it into one video. But I'll update you guys. Until next time, see ya.